Hello there and a very warm welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I am Victor Mathias. Now, worried by the rate of violent and terror attacks in the country, the federal government has launched a policy to bring to an end violent extremism. But just before the policy will take full throttle, the news of an attack on a government science technical college broke and was later discovered that schoolgirls were abducted in the process, whom have now been tagged the Dapchi girls. This will be our focus on the program today, but let's take a detour and bring you the trending topics in the past week.
Thousands of social media users are set to converge on Lagos to explore a wide range of topics, including business, entertainment, education, technology, and politics in the social media age. The platform for this discussion is the 2018 edition of the Social Media Week, which will explore the intensifying conflict between community and individualism. And there was so much to talk about after the UEFA Europa Last 16 draw, which brought to the open which clubs will face each other in the second-tier continental footballing showpiece. The draws included mouth-watering clashes between North London giants Arsenal versus Italian giants AC Milan.
Well, there you go. Those were the trends in the past week. But joining us to look at the topic of the day, we have with us in the studio Olasheni Olaidejo. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you, Victor.
Very well. And we also have on our Google Plus Hangout, we have Mukhtar Daniyan, who joins us from New York in the United States. Mukhtar, thank you for joining us on the program. And we have Nnamdi, who joins us from Abuja, Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory. Nnamdi, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me.
We also have Bede Chukwuekezie, who joins us from Hartfield in the United Kingdom. Bede, thanks as well for joining us on the program today.
My pleasure.
Very well. Let me come back to you to kickstart this conversation for us, Olasheni. What do you make of this policy by the federal government, which is aimed at ending violent extremism?
Okay, thank you, Victor. Looking at the policies by the federal government aimed at ending violent extremism, the Minister of Information, while speaking in Abuja earlier in the week, mentioned he mentioned particular things that he felt are responsible or that are responsible for violent extremism. He mentioned unemployment, he mentioned poverty, he mentioned lack of education. These are known facts. These are things we've always known. We know what is happening in the north. We know how important or how unimportant education has been to most people in the north, and we know that these are the things that lead so many into militancy or others security things that we've had over the years. So we've always known that if you make sincere provisions for certain things, yes, for things to be in place, if you reduce unemployment within our youth, if you make education more accessible, or you make people see education attractive, we understand that these scourges in our society will reduce. And then the sincerity of the government in implementing these things is also questionable.
Okay, we'll come to the sincerity in just a minute, but let me come over to Mukhtar. All right, Mukhtar, let me come to you now. This policy is coming 3 years after this government came into power. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why Malashani here is saying that the sincerity of the government to even follow this policy to the letter is questionable. Do you think it is coming too little, too late?
Quite frankly, I don't even know what these people mean when they say it's a policy framework, a national action plan for preventing and countering violent extremism. All they basically presented is a document on what kind of framework Nigeria has to have to be a normal state, to be a state that is running. I mean, they're talking about structural conditions such as unemployment, poverty, lack of education, corruption, and so on and so forth. We know all those things. Those are issues which have been plaguing Nigeria. So presenting this document and saying it's a new framework, it's a new policy, no, it really isn't. It's just the basics that every reasonable person expects from the government of the day. If the administration is serious about countering violent extremism, they need to go into the areas where violent extremism is actually bred, and those areas are densely populated parts of the north, where extremist Islamic ideology is able to replace the earnings of the dividends of a secular state, and they need to counter those ideologies by providing a framework for people to have things to do that will aid them in getting to the next level as citizens. This document presented by Lai Mohammed, like I said, unfortunately falls short. I think it's just nothing but platitudes and probably yet another money-making scheme for some people somewhere, because it doesn't present anything new whatsoever.
All right, speaking about money now, Bede, let me come to you. I mean, the government was talking about, about a $1 billion fund which was meant, to finally, eradicate Boko Haram and any other security threat that we might be facing. Do you think this will help? I mean, because it's coming as well, just a few months, so to speak, now, after that request was made to the National Assembly.
For me, I don't want to foreclose the fact that there may be a possibility of them using the money very well. But from all indication, you can see that not everything can be solved with money. Now, when we were talking about herdsmen killings, one of the Minister of Interior said that some of them are not even from Nigeria. So, and they don't even know the number of them that are from Nigeria. And we know that these terrorists, some of them go out of Nigeria and come into Nigeria. We don't know where they are coming from. We don't know who is who. Even if you want to spend $30 billion every day, it will not stop it. The only thing you'll be doing is buying guns and ammunition, and nothing will happen. So what we need to do, as Uta said, is not just telling us things, policies that any normal country is supposed to have. We need to have an integrated anti-terrorism policy. It has to have a lot of indices inside it. We need to streamline communication, intra and inter security agencies communication.